Happy Tuesday, TV family. We're back. Happy Cinco de Mayo, 5th day of May, 2026. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. Very pleasant morning, 59 degrees. Another warm day yesterday, another warm day today. It's going to be a little cooler than yesterday. A backdoor cold front came in the overnight hours. When I got up this morning at 2:45, it was 66 degrees in the valley. It's now dropped down to 59 degrees. So after hitting a high of 88, which was a bit surprising on Monday, we'll be more like 82, 83 for the afternoon high today. Things are going to change up a little bit in the middle of the week, Wednesday night into Thursday. The high pressure ridge that we've been talking about parked over the Pacific coast is going to gradually go up to the north, and it's going to spill in a couple of shortwave troughs and some slightly cooler air for the weekend. So if you don't like the unseasonably warm weather we've been having over the last 5 days or so, there will be a bit of relief from the heat as we get to the weekend. Those details are coming up. News, lots, sports. If you loved home runs, you loved last night's Mariner-Braves game because it was all home runs. The two teams combined for 6 home runs. The funny thing is, Atlanta hit 4 of those 6, but the Mariners still won. Highlights of that busy prep season gets towards the end of it for a lot of the sports. The smaller schools, it's playoff time for a lot of sports. For the bigger schools, they have another week to go before they get into district playoff action. We'll talk a lot about sports. And speaking of sports, live in this studio, there's a chair next to me, but you can't see it because of this. See that? That's pretty cool. Sandy Cooprider, Coop, will be joining me because the Mayne Event, you've been hearing about this for the last couple of months, is finally upon us. It's this Saturday at the Rec Center on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College. Kenny Mayne, an alumnus of Wenatchee Valley College, 27 years of ESPN, and luckily for us, a good friend of Coop, is going to be in town. It's a fundraiser for the Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department, and Sandy Cooprider will be live in this studio in the back half of the program. It is tour time on a very nice Tuesday morning. 59 degrees here in the big city. We almost set a record again yesterday. We talked about this before. We came close on Saturday of Apple Blossom Weekend. We came close on Sunday. We came close on Monday. We hit 88, which is just one off the record. That's pretty remarkable. Our normal high is 68. We were 20 degrees above normal. Freda got to 88. Moses Lake got to 89. Omak got to 88. It was a very warm day yesterday. Are we going to get up to the mid-80s? Not for a while. The forecast period is going to call for considerably cooler weather, but still above normal. That's the monitor camera looking out over Sleepy Hollow, which is pretty cool. We turn that around, of course. We see monitor. We turn it that way, and we have the Wenatchee Valley, a little slice of the Columbia River, good chunk of Sleepy Hollow Road there, and the highway heading into the big city. Nice view from our monitor camera there. Let's head on up to Bear Mountain and take a look at Lake Chelan, which is placid. As you can see, the bathtub still has some work to do to get filled up. Memorial Day is the traditional opening day of summer and recreation and various fun activities at Lake Chelan. It's early this year. It's as early as Memorial Day can get. It can't get any earlier than May 25th, and that's what it is this year. And last year, if you remember, Lake Chelan was not up to its normal level in time for Memorial Day. It was pretty close, but it wasn't. And my guess is it probably won't be this year either, simply because Memorial Day is about a week earlier than it normally is. And finally, up to Nanapoc Ridge. They can't control the level of Lake Wenatchee, but it's still absolutely gorgeous up there. The snow continues to melt at a pretty rapid pace up in the Cascades. We do this on Tuesdays. Today is no exception. Here you go. From the Climate Prediction Center to the long-term forecast, this takes us from Sunday to Thursday of next week. And as you can see, the entire western third of this country will see above normal temperatures, and most of the western third of this country will see below normal precipitation. So get ready for continuing sunny, well, not necessarily sunny, but certainly warmer than normal temperatures, especially along the California coast, and drier than normal conditions for most of our area. I have a feeling we could have just another long, hot summer. I don't have any. It's just my trick knee. That's what it is. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, it's where comfort, care, and community come together. Sunshine today, 82 degrees. for the afternoon high, so it'll be about 6 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. Clear skies tonight, 56 for the overnight low. Wednesday, we'll have sunshine in the morning, clouds in the afternoon. So what's going to happen is a shortwave ridge is going to come into the region and flatten out a little bit. And the high pressure ridge is going to continue to move to the north, and that's going to allow for some clouds to work their way in. And by Wednesday night, it will be cloudy and also a little breezy on Wednesday night as well. But the clouds will clear out on Thursday morning. We'll have sunshine most of the day Thursday. Here's that cooler air we were talking about with a high of 80, 74, and partly sunny skies on Friday. And then a nice weekend if you like it sunny and mild but not hot. This is going to be our third or fourth really nice weekend in a row. It's going to be hard to stay inside on Saturday and Sunday, and I won't be, with a high of 76 on Saturday and 80 on Sunday. And no rain, as in zero, as in none. Going to take a break and come back with your news on this Tuesday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether,
we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
When life gets stressful, reaching for a vape might seem like a quick fix, but vaping can actually make feelings of anxiety and depression worse. Each time you vape, nicotine tricks your brain into feeling rewarded. And the more you vape, the more nicotine receptors your brain creates. Over time, your body needs more and more nicotine to feel good. And when you can't get enough, you can experience withdrawal symptoms like anxiety, mood swings, and depression. Learn more at chooseyouwa.org.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
.61 degrees, quite a bit of sunshine. We'll have a beautiful day today, considerably cooler, only about 82, which is still very warm for early May, right around the 80-degree mark for the most part, with a few clouds Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. It is 8 minutes after the hour. Authorities have charged a Malaga man with attempted murder and related charges. This stems from a January home invasion and robbery in Wenatchee. Police say back on January 24th, 23-year-old Fernando Justice and 3 other men robbed a group of people at a house in the 600 block of Highland Drive. The robbers forced all the bystanders to empty their pockets and hand over their valuables, and during that robbery, Justice allegedly threatened the group with a handgun and fired a shot which passed near the head of one male victim. Investigators say the whole incident, including the gunfire, was captured on a Ring camera video. The incident is believed to be gang-related. Justice has been held in the Chelan County Jail since he was arrested. That was on March 31st for fleeing from a traffic stop. Prosecutors charged him last week with attempted murder, first-degree robbery, and unlawful possession of a firearm. An 18-year-old who investigators say was involved in the start of the Balsam Root fire a couple of summers ago pleaded guilty last week and was sentenced to a year under community supervision. Eric Carranza-Telez of East Wenatchee was arrested in 2025 for starting the fire that erupted in the morning of July the 5th, 2024 in the Horse Lake Road area. That fire burned more than 300 acres. Carranza Tellez was identified by sheriff's deputies. They used DNA obtained from a piece of PVC and a lighter that was found at the scene. That's according to documents filed in Chelan County Superior Court. Because he was a minor at the time in 2024, Carranza Tellez pled guilty in Chelan County Juvenile Court to second-degree reckless burning and 2 counts of reckless endangerment. Court Commissioner Tracy Brent sentenced him to a year of community supervision, 100 hours of community service, and $2,500 in restitution. Well, the 2 finalists to oversee Link Transit met with the public last night in a meet and greet organized by Link. CEO Nick Covey is stepping down in June after 3 years at the top job and 32 years at Link altogether. The man who could take his place, Don Billen, Link's current planning manager, and Patrick Preuser, who's now the chief operations officer for the transit system in Denver. NCW Life asked both men at the event to describe in their own words what public transportation means for a community.
About 30% of the population is not able to drive, either because of age, disability, or income. So for them, it's a lifeline. It literally lets them get to work, get to medical appointments, run errands. For the rest of the community, it's really important to our economic growth, particularly here in Chelan and Douglas County, where we have so much tourism. Many of those jobs pay wages that are too low to enable workers to live in the place that they work. And we bring folks to those jobs.
I think public transportation naturally connects communities, but also improves quality of life. At the end of the day, it comes down to freedom of movement. Ultimately, transit is really like a social equalizer and ultimately allows people freedom of movement. And to me, that's been one thing that I've really enjoyed my entire career, is being able to have that impact on communities and ensure that people have that freedom of movement and improve that quality of life.
An Okanagan County man is missing, still missing, and is the subject of a silver alert. The Washington State Patrol says 84-year-old Glenn Laudner was last seen at about 9 a.m. Sunday on Bartlett Avenue in Omak. He is believed to have driven away from the area. Laudner is, or could be, traveling in a brown 2015 Chevy Silverado. He is about 5'5", weighs about 200 pounds. He has gray hair and brown eyes. As of this morning, he is still missing. Authorities are asking anybody spotting Laudner or his vehicle to report by calling 911. And Chelan County has begun the process of creating a new community park in the town of Plain. County commissioners last week signed a $1.2 million purchase and sale agreement on the 18-acre parcel, which is currently owned by G&B Properties East. The land already serves as an entry point to local ski trails, and the county says creating the park would preserve that public access. Plain is one of the few rural communities in Chelan County that does not have a community park. The county and the seller have about 90 days to close on an irrigation agreement and an easement, and then the purchase can be executed. And you're in the loop. At 13 minutes after the hour, if today is any sample of yesterday, going to be another busy day in the newsroom, but we got pros who know what they're doing. And out comes the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight, 5, 6, and 10 on television, the traditional television time. A lot of people have unplugged, and we get that, which is why we're on YouTube. Right around 5 o'clock, we're on Roku, we're on Apple TV Plus. If you got the Amazon Fire app on your TV, you're good to go there. And if you got a news tip, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. A very interesting night at T-Mobile Park last night, and I'll have proof of that in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Get ready to sip, sway, and celebrate at the Lake Chelan Wine and Jazz Festival, May 14th through the 17th. Experience over 35 live performances featuring jazz, blues, funk, and more, all set across award-winning wineries and scenic venues around Lake Chelan. Enjoy world-class wine, incredible food, and one-of-a-kind musical journey through wine country. Don't miss the Lake Chelan Wine and Jazz Festival. Get your tickets now at chelanwinejazz.com.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
We've all dreamt of moving somewhere new. But what are home prices like? How are the schools? What are the state income taxes? And how's the weather? For all your questions, the Coldwell Banker Move Meter has answers. It's the only tool that lets you compare cities by cost and quality of living, so you can get a better idea of what your dream looks like and start making it come true. The Move Meter, only from Coldwell Banker. Live well with Coldwell.
Sports at 16 minutes after the hour. The Atlanta Braves hit 4 home runs. The Mariners hit 2 home runs. The difference is when the Mariners hit their homers, they had runners on base, and Atlanta did not. All 4 of their homers were solo shots, and the Mariners came back from a 5-run deficit with a 5-run 6th inning, by the way, and they won. They beat the Braves 5-4 at T-Mobile Park last night. J.P. Crawford had the big blow as the Mariners end Atlanta's 4-game winning streak.
So they're reeling a little bit at 16-19. Baldwin gives it a ride out to right center field. Rodriguez to the wall. It is gone. What a start in the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to the leadoff spot. Drake Baldwin, his 9th homer of the year. Ozzie Albies gives it a ride. Does it have enough? You bet it does. The hit streak is extended to 16 games, and the lead is extended to 2-0 for the Atlanta Braves.
It's an impressive home run in this ballpark from Ozzie Albies. It's against that fastball that we told you Gilbert has had issues with. It is center cut, 95 miles an hour, and not a problem for Ozzie at all.
Pitch coming to Matt Olson. And Olson out to center field. There it is, number 300. Back-to-back for Atlanta. Olson after Ozzie, and it's 3-0. And one that Matt Olson will always remember. He is the 166th player in Major League Baseball history to hit the 300 home run mark. And now Riley. Boy, it is bombs away in Seattle. 4 solo homers for the Braves, 3 here in the 6th.
Logan Gilbert came into this game having given up 4 home runs all season. 3 this inning, 4 on the night. That number doubles. And so good, as we mentioned, to see Austin Riley on time with the fastball. Remember the line out in his first at-bat. Twice he was on 97. This time he gets 96, and he hits it into left field.
Wow, that ball tagged right field, gone! 1-run game, a bomb from Luke Raley.
Well, we were waiting for the Mariners to take advantage of some of the opportunities. And Luke Raley jumps on this one and puts it into the seats for a 3-run home run.
And just like that, the M's are back in business.
3-2. High fly, way back there, doesn't have enough, and it's gone! J.P. Crawford! It's a go-ahead 2-run home run!
What a great at-bat by J.P. Crawford. Had some good swings, took some close pitches, but finally timed one up and hit a moonshot out there to right field.
Braves down to their final strike. Ground ball, weakly hit, right there. Cole Young under first base, and the Mariners win. On a night where they crawl from the back seat into the driver's seat. 5 unanswered to take game 1 against Atlanta.
Cal Raleigh missed his third straight game. He has soreness in his right side, but then again, don't we all? He may be put on the 10-day DL, but they can't make that retroactive, so make him come back a little sooner. Hopefully he won't go on the 10-day DL at all. Game 2 of their series is tonight at 6:40 on Mariners.TV. All right, to the scoreboard we go. Mondays and Thursdays are the lightest days in baseball, and yesterday was no exception there. The only other 2 teams in the division that saw action, both lost. Astros lost to the Dodgers. Angels lost to the White Sox. We like that. All right, for the District 5 1A soccer tournament, it all begins today. The quest for the state championship. Now, there are actually 16 teams in this tournament. That is a lot of teams in a boys soccer tournament, but 7 of those 16 teams you see listed here will eventually make it to state. The first round, which begins today, all these games are loser out. Once you win, if you win, you have a pretty good chance at making state. So there's your schedule. Highland at Okanagan at 4 o'clock, same time for Brewster and Wahluke. 1.5 hours later, it's Tenasket welcoming Warden to town. Then at 6 o'clock tonight, Granger will be at Cashmere, Natchez Valley at #1 seed Cascade, Liberty Bell at Wapato, Chelan is at Connell, and Orville is at Royal. Again, there are 16 teams there. 7 of those 16 teams will make it to state. For the District 5 2A soccer tournament, same deal, but it's loser out for these 2 teams. There's no going home if you don't win. Grandview will be at Quincy at 5 o'clock in a loser out game. Ellensburg will host Othello on the pitch at 5 o'clock again in a loser out game. We got a big one tonight. Boy, we're looking forward to this. Eastmont Wildcats are 7-3, currently in 3rd place in the Big 9 soccer standings. Wenatchee is 8-2 in 2nd place. Something's got to give. Wenatchee beat Eastmont in East Wenatchee 4-3 about a month ago. It was a great game. We're going to be there with Sebastian and Darryl on the call. It's going to be a gorgeous night to leave off the field of the Apple Bowl. Big crowd expected, as you might imagine, but if you can't make it, you can watch it tonight. The Wildcats and the Panthers, and one of the biggest games in this rivalry we've had in quite some time. And the other game in the Big 9, the other match is Eisenhower at Moses Lake at 7 o'clock. All right, to baseball we go. The District 5 2A baseball tournament continues today. Afraid will be at Prosser at 4:30. That's a loser-out game. Grandview and Quincy, 4:30 again, a loser-out game. Cedar will be at Othello at 4:30. East Valley at Ellensburg. Those two games are not loser-out contests. Wenatchee Panthers hit the road to Yakima, taking on undefeated West Valley in Big 9 play at 5 o'clock tonight. It's the final week of the regular season in the Columbia Basin Big 9. Eastmont will welcome Moses Lake to Dan White Field at 5 o'clock. And Prep softball. Doubleheader, Omak and Chelan wrap up the Caribou Trail League regular season today. It's a doubleheader with Waterville Mansfield hosting a Myra Cooley Heartline. A single game between Manson and Tenasket. At 4:30, scores of all of those games on tomorrow morning's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Of course, it's Cinco de Mayo. Happy birthday. Happy birthday? You know what it is. It is Freedom Day in Ethiopia. I looked it up this morning. They don't have that. It's a National Astronaut Day. We'll get to that in just a little bit. National Hoagie Day. I like a good hoagie as much as anybody. It's National Foster Care Day. It's National Teacher Appreciation Day. And in retrospect, maybe I should have done that. Most of my teachers were really good, although you wouldn't know it. But today is National Cartoonist Day today. Cartoons, specifically comic strips in newspapers is what it celebrates today. And these are the 10 most widely syndicated comic strips of all time. Some of them are still around. Some of them have been gone for quite some time, but here they are. Number 10, Dick Tracy, which apparently is still being made. Number 9, Popeye. Number 8, Bloom County. The 7th most widely syndicated comic strip of all time, Pearls Before Swine. Number 6, Life in Hell. Number 5, Dennis the Menace. Number 4, Calvin and Hobbes. Number 3, Garfield. The 2nd most widely syndicated comic strip of all time, The Far Side. And by far the number 1 syndicated comic strip of all time, and they still do reruns, even though Charles Schulz has been dead for 26 years, is Peanuts. And of course, Charles Schulz did not like the name Peanuts. Universal Syndicate forced the name Peanuts on Charles Schulz, even though he didn't much care for the name, but the royalty checks cleared the bank, and I think he got over it. Today in history, somebody had to be first, and wouldn't you know, it would be Cy Young. It was on this day, May 5th, 1904, the first perfect game in modern Major League history, and there have only been 23 of them in the history of Major League Baseball in its modern era. And by a perfect game, I mean one pitcher, 27 up, 27 down. That's it. Nobody reaches base. Cy Young did it. Pitching against the Athletics at the Huntington Avenue grounds, Cy Young of the Boston Red Sox throws the very first perfect game in Major League Baseball history. It is still a remarkable achievement, which is why when anybody does it, it's not just baseball news, it's world news. 81 years ago today, two events we're going to talk about May 5th, 1945. Archie Mitchell was the pastor of the Bly Christian and Missionary Alliance Church. He and his pregnant wife, Elsie, took 5 kids from the congregation on a picnic trip up Gerhardt Mountain in Oregon. It was Sunday school. It was their Sunday school students went out to have a picnic. They had to stop at a sign near Bly, Oregon. There was road construction going on. They couldn't go any further. So Elsie and the 5 kids got out of the car. Archie continued down the road to find a parking spot. Elsie and the 5 Sunday school kids were looking for a picnic spot. They found a nice clearing in the woods on a very pleasant Sunday morning. And over on the ground in the corner was a Japanese Fugo balloon bomb. They had dropped a ton of these on the West Coast towards the end of the war. And one of the children walked over and kicked the Fugo balloon bomb. The balloon bomb exploded. Elsie and the 5 children were killed instantly. They remain, and they were the only Americans killed on American soil during World War II as a result of an enemy attack. And they have a plaque, a commemorative plaque there. It happened on this date 81 years ago today. And on the other side of the planet, 81 years ago today, perhaps the strangest battle of World War II, the Battle of Castle Eater. On one side, Nazi Germany towards the very end of their existence. On the other side, the United States, POWs, the Free French, members of the Austrian resistance, and Nazi Germany. A whole bunch of troops from one of the battalions in Nazi Germany realized they weren't going to win the war, and they went over to the other side. And the Germans and the Nazis, the Nazi Germans fought together side by side with the Americans to wipe out the Nazis. Worked too. It was on this date also in 1945. Today is National Astronaut Day. Alan Shepard becomes the first American to orbit the Earth on May 5th, 1961. Of course, Yuri Gagarin had already done it. Yuri Gagarin was up there for quite some time. Alan Shepard was not. He was only up there for 15 minutes. He did basically one lap. It's the space equivalent of walking around the block, I guess. And the worst part for poor Alan Shepard, once they strapped him into the capsule and was ready to launch him into space to become the first American in space, they thought he'd be in there for a little over 2 hours. He was in there for a little over 4.5 hours before they finally launched him. And he had to go to the bathroom. He had to go wee. And he couldn't, he just weed. He peed himself. He didn't have any choice. They fixed that problem, by the way. 53 years ago today, on the way to the Triple Crown. If you got to win the Kentucky Derby, if you're going to win the Triple Crown, Secretariat makes history running the fastest Kentucky Derby ever. Here is some remarkable footage from 53 years ago today at Churchill Downs.
And they're off for the lead. On the inside, that's Angle Light for the lead. On the outside, Shecky Green, Royal and Regal. Then on the rail, it's Restless Jet, followed by Our Native. Up on the outside is Gold Bag. They're by the stands for the first time. Shecky Green is showing the way by a length and a half. Royal and Regal now being moved to the inside, looking for room. Gold Bag is up on the outside. Then on the rail, it's Angle Light, followed by Sham, Our Native, Restless Jet. It's My Gallant, then Forgo. On the outside, Navajo, followed by Secretariat, Warbucks, and finally, Twice a Prince. They're into the turn and bunching for the lead with Shecky Green, still the leader by a half a length. On the outside and challenging is Sham, and he's now got a head in front. Now Shecky Green responds to the challenge, and those two are heads apart. Royal and Regal is third and holding on. Goldbag drops back. Secretariat is fourth and moving up on the outside and is now third and moving at the leaders as they come for the head of the stretch. They're at the head of the stretch, and Sham is the leader. He leads it by a length. Secretariat is in the center of the racetrack and driving. Shecky Green now drops back. Coming on a bit is Forgo, our native on the outside. Now and they're in the stretch. It's Secretariat. Secretariat on the outside to take the lead. Sham holding in second. It's Secretariat moving away. He has it by 2.5. Sham then on the outside, our native. At the wire, it's going to be Secretariat. He wins it by 2 lengths. Sham is second. Our native third by a neck. Forgo is fourth. Restless Jet is fifth. And it looked like Navajo might have gotten up for sixth. We'll have that for you in just a moment. Right now, let's take a look as they go around the turn. Let's make the margin a little better, 2¼ lengths at the finish line. The winning time once again, 1:59 2/5, and that's a new Derby 1.25 record.
That was 53 years ago. They've run, 157 Kentucky Derbies. It's still the fastest Kentucky Derby ever run. And horses, even really fast thoroughbred horses, when you run as fast as you can, you are supposed to get tired. Secretariat got faster as the race went on. We'll check in with the Preakness Stakes, by the way, in a few weeks. And the strange career of Claudell Washington came to an end on this date in 1975. Herb Washington was his name. Herb Washington appeared in 105 Major League Baseball games for the Oakland A's. He never once came to bat. He never once pitched. He never once fielded. He was essentially a designated runner. So basically, the Oakland A's played 2.5, 3 seasons, one man short. Why did they sign Herb Washington? Because he was the fastest man on the planet. He was a world record holder in the 50 and 60-yard dash, had never played baseball, but he signed with the A's because Charlie Finley, the owner, said, well, if he's the fastest man on earth, nobody's going to catch him get stole. He stole 31 bases, scored 33 runs. The guy got a major league career, 3-year career by just running. Birthdays. If you use your name as an adjective and a noun, you've made an impact. Karl Marx certainly did. The philosopher from Germany, sociologist, journalist, Marxism, the Communist Manifesto, Das Kapital. He formulated the idea of communism. It was Vladimir Lenin who made it a reality. Karl Marx, born in the state in 1818. Leo Ryan, when he was serving as a California state assemblyman, he got a job as a substitute teacher in Watts right after the Watts riots of 1965, so we could see for himself the cause of the riots. 5 years later, he was in charge of investigating prison conditions in the state of California, so he used an alias, got himself arrested, was strip searched, and spent 10 days at San Quentin so we could personally investigate prison conditions in California. And then in November of 1978, he went down to investigate the People's Temple, the cult in Guyana, and of course he was shot and killed while trying to leave with members of the People's Temple who didn't want to be there anymore. In 1983, the United States Congress posthumously awarded him the Congressional Gold Medal. He is the only member of Congress killed in the line of duty. He was born in the state 101 years ago today. And Adele Laurie Blue Atkins, just Adele. The rest of that doesn't look good on a marquee. 38 years old today. Of course, she names all of her albums on the age in which she recorded them. Her album 21 is the best-selling album of the 21st century. She's 38 now. She hasn't done an album in 8 years. Time to get back to work so I can buy it. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. We're very proud to have them on board. Going to take a break. Mike McDonough's got an opinion. And then right here in this studio, Sandy Cooprider for the big event Saturday night. Kenny Mayne coming back into town. It's the Mayne Event. Sandy will tell you all about it when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Whether you're a new homeowner or looking to update, Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need. From top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style, they have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
This is Mike Madlock McNulty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, this friend of mine wants to develop a new comedy routine, and he says he doesn't have to prepare any new material. He said all he has to do is glean jokes from old comedians like, Bob Hope, Richard Pryor, Woody Allen. He figures that old people like us have memory loss, and they won't remember these guys. And the younger generations, they've never heard these jokes. It might work. Like my favorite comedian, Rodney Dangerfield. He said, my wife made me join a bridge club. I jump next Tuesday. Okay, this is Mike Madlock McNulty, and that's my opinion.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Community is more than just a place. It's the people, stories, and connections we share. At the Wenatchee World, we're your neighbors, your storytellers, and your trusted voice. From uncovering the issues that matter most to celebrating the moments that bring us together. We deliver the stories that keep the community moving forward. The Wenatchee World, your community voice, here every day.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
If you haven't already made plans for this Saturday, congratulations, you're about ready to make plans. And it's all for a good cause. The Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department needs your help. They do good work. Time to pay them back a little bit. And Sandy Cooprider is going to make it worth your while because he got together with the starting quarterback for the Wenatchee Valley College way back in the mid-'70s. Is a gentleman you may have heard of. He spent 27 years at ESPN. He's coming into town Saturday night for the Mayne Event. That's a play on words, and here to talk about it live in the studio is my good buddy, Sandy Cooprider. Coop, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing awesome.
You must be excited about this. This has been in the hopper for months.
Yeah. We started December 1st, and when Greg got hired and was on board, we started having meetings, Greg Franz and I and Greg Sparling, and basically say, hey, we need to find a way to generate some funds and some, not just small, but an opportunity to kind of put an influx of some money into the athletic program. So I called up Kenny, which I usually do when I need something. And so I told him what we're doing, and he said, well, I've got something I think that you could do. I've done a couple of shows in Las Vegas, stand-up comedy. I think he even went back to Comedy Central back in New York in particular one time or two. And he says, look, I said, we put this thing together, the wiffle ball documentary, and I do a stand-up comedy. Ken Burns helped produce it, which is, if anybody knows anything about films, he's a big producer. Ken Griffey Jr. is in this documentary. And he said, look, I'll donate all the proceeds. You get me out here, get me a place to stay. I want to bring my daughter and her boyfriend because, they've never been to Wenatchee, believe it or not. And so it's an opportunity for them to come and see him perform. And so, it just kind of started from there. And this is an event that once we started getting everything kind of organized and making some plans on how we're going to do this, it started to morph into a bigger event than what you anticipate. And this is something that you like to plan at least 6 months out. And we're doing everything with less than 3 months. And so it's all coming together. It's one of those things about this community, when there's a need, they step up. And so we've got some fantastic sponsors that stepped up. We've got some pretty awesome silent auction items, but I think the opportunity for people in this community, because this is very unlike something that we bring to Wenatchee. And and he brings his dry sense of humor.
Dry, it's arid is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, he's just funny. Talking to you earlier, I text him. He texts back one word or 2 words. I have to figure out what he's talking about, so I text him back and I get 3 words.
So some things really haven't changed since 1977. This thing that you're talking about, this documentary, this wiffle ball documentary, it's important that we stress this because Kenny mentioned this to me when we talked via Zoom a couple of weeks ago, I should say. You can't find it anywhere, and Kenny can't screen it for commercial purposes. There are some rights holders and some licensing issues, but Ken can screen this documentary for a private audience, which is why this is the only way you're going to be able to see this wiffle ball documentary, and it is really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty awesome on how he put this together, and just kind of a little bit of history about him when he was a young kid. All of us kind of grew up playing wiffle ball. The yellow bat and the white wiffle ball, and you make your boundaries, whatever they are. We used to do home run derby across the line with the wiffle ball, and so it's just an opportunity for him to, I think, document how he saw wiffle ball when he was growing up, and he's got some, pretty unique little stories that go along with it. So, and I think more importantly, it's what he stands for, not just being a comedian, not just being a sportscaster, but he's also somebody that's put together his foundation that really goes out and helps veterans, and it's really interesting because, he tore up his ankle pretty badly when he was at UNLV. And so it kind of hindered him all through the time that he was growing up, and he was very active. He wanted to play this and do that, but his ankle, would prohibit him. So I don't know how he found this company. I think it was through one of his friends, but it's a company that's located in West Seattle, or I think it's more like Vashon Island, whatever it is. And so he just started talking to him. I said, I'd like to be able to experiment and put together some kind of a brace to help veterans so that they could have a much more normal life. And so they came together and they did some experimentation. He was the guinea pig. All of a sudden they put together this brace where he could actually walk better and run. You know, because he can't wear normal shoes like we can because of the unfortunate injury that he had with that ankle.
You've been in the face of Wenatchee Valley College athletics for decades. I don't want to age you. And I know for a number of years, up until the hiring of Greg Sparling, what was happening with the college athletic department was painful to you. I could see it. I mean, I talked to you all the time.
Yep.
It was a revolving door of who's in charge, financial mismanagement. It was the Wenatchee Valley College athletic department fell in some pretty hard times. And along came Greg Sparling, who's brought a whole new energy to that wing of the campus. And this is when you stepped in and said, Greg is going to turn this place around. We still need to give him some help, but Greg is the guy to do it because he inherited a mess and he's doing a great job.
Oh, he's doing an awesome job. I call him the gentle giant, you know, because he is. If you put me between Greg Franz and Greg Sparling, you know, I don't know, I look like a midget. But I like his demeanor. Number one is he had to come in and he's got 5 brand new coaches, head coaches in 5 different sports. And they needed some help because, number one, a lot of them have never been a head coach. So there's a lot of unknowns for them. And so he was just trying to guide and put out all the fires and get everybody going in the right direction. You know, that's all the daily things that you have to do as an athletic director. You know, and more importantly, him and I have been everywhere. We've gone to almost 7, I think, or 8 service clubs. I've tried to introduce him with all the people that I know. I look back a year ago when I was doing the Bighorns, and it kind of was a prep for me to come out of retirement and, you know, help with the athletic program. And so as a result of this, he's had an opportunity to meet a lot of people, and I think a lot quicker than if he was trying to do it by himself.
And people love a winner, and he's got a lot of work to do there. But first of all, the men's baseball team is really good this year. They're smoking the competition. Good competition, I might add.
Yes, and you know, they're right now, I think they made the playoffs, which that's really important. They're kind of in a battle with Spokane. Spokane are going back and forth. They have identical records going into the last, I think, 4 games. We have a home game on, I think that's our last home game when the Mayne Event is going on. And so, you know, and that's sophomore night. And so there's a lot of things going on, but our baseball team, I watched them a few times, and I like the pitching, I like their attitude, I like their energy that they show. And you know, Aaron is, you know, he's been with us now, I think, for about 5 years, pretty close to 6 years. He's a hard worker, you know, and you take a look at the amount of players that are still here. I think that's a testament to him as a head coach and how his players feel about him. And you know, you know, I kind of watch their practices, and they're doing out there having some fun, which I've always believed that when you're in coaching, you got to make it fun for your players, or you aren't going to get it done.
He's gotten a lot of really local talent, very good local baseball talent from area high schools, kids who might have the opportunity to go elsewhere to ply their trade and to continue their baseball career, and he's convinced them to stay in town and play for the college, and that's, to me, been the big difference.
Well,
there.
That's the hard part. You know, that's the hard part, because a lot of times good athletes from this valley, you know, would like to go someplace else. You know, and I experienced a lot of that when I was the head football coach and as the head baseball coach. And you know, but once you get yourself established and they know that you're going to be there for them, you know, that does make a difference. And you know, it's kind of, you have to work the system. You know, you have to get out there and to develop a relationship. I mean, it's just like anything you do in life. If you don't work at it, you aren't going to be successful. You know, that's what I like about Greg Sparling. He's willing to do anything, you know, to, you know, change I think the attitude, change the way that I think that we are trying to get support for our student athletes. You know, and we got a couple of goals that we're going to try to work on. I'm not going to stop when this is going on. I'm going to try and help as much as I can. I don't want to step on his toes, okay? And, you know, I've told him that. I said, look, I said, if I'm stepping on your toes, I don't want you stepping on mine, because
he's got bigger feet than you do.
Yes, he does.
Much bigger feet. could have just as he could have taken a look at it at the athletic department and said, why would I want to do this? But Greg said, this is a challenge and I'm up for it, and he's taken the challenge and he's done great.
Well, the thing that I like about him, it's a student athlete. It's the main focus. It's not about me. It's not about Greg. You know, the two Gregs. In fact, I get two Gregs mixed up. And then we got another Greg Wood from Pepsi. So we got a lot of Gregs.
You mentioned sponsors. We'll get to that in just a little bit. We mentioned the wiffle ball documentary. Again, this is a private screening. Katie can't actually show this without getting in any kind of copyright problems, which is half the reason you should go anyway. Outside of the wiffle ball documentary, which isn't particularly long, talk about the program on Saturday night.
All right, so we're starting at 5:30, okay, and there's an opportunity for a lot of people to still buy tickets and tables. We were signing table assignments yesterday. We're working on it again today, and right now we've got probably close to 225 thereabouts, and then we've got a lot of people that are committed to tables, but they got to pony up first. You know, it's not going to be a freebie, and so we're working really hard, you know, to get them. And you know, it's a job. I mean, and you have to go out and you have to sell this, and the people like what we're doing, and we're getting a kind of a late rush. You know, people, hey, I want to do this now. I'm hearing about this.
Well, this is a last-second town, Coop. You know that.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I've got a lot of my former players, even today.
And Katie's got some teammates coming back from those nice teams from the 70s.
Oh, definitely. And one of our good punters over the course of the time, Jim Gribble. I mean, I can't remember, but he was in the 40s, 42, 43, right around there, maintained that. And, you know, and Kenny just established some good friends. And I don't know if you know the story about, you know, I recruited him because his best friend came from Federal Way, and that was Don McCurley. And so he told me about Kenny Mayne. He said, yeah, he said he can throw the ball. So, you know, I saw some film on him back then when they had film, you know, not video, not, you know, whatever it is today. But, you know, I was impressed by him. He was about 6'3", but he was 175 pounds. And so I recruited him. He came. He said, yes, I'm coming. A week before, he calls me up and says, hey, Coach Coop, he says, I got to tell you something. I've always wanted to be a Husky. So I'm going to walk on. And I said, I paused for a minute, and I said, how can I deal with this delicately without, okay, I just told him, Kenny, I'm going to tell you something. I said, this is what happens when you walk on. You're not even in the varsity locker room. You're in the walk-on locker room, or anybody who didn't make the varsity. I said, you're going to be a tackling dummy. You're going to be this and that. And I said, you're going to call me in 3 days. I was wishing. You're going to call me in 3 days. I said, I want to come back to Wenatchee. So.
Oh, and by the way, there was a certain quarterback by the name of Warren Moon who was starting for the Huskies. So.
Starting for the Huskies. And so about 3 days later, I get a phone call. He said, Coach Coop, you're right. I want to come to Wenatchee. And I said, okay. I said, and I start crumbling some papers. I said, I can't find your scholarship. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, yeah, come on. And so he came. The first thing I did is I took him in my office when he came here. And I learned this from Frosty Westering after going to a sports psychology class one summer school. And, you know, he was talking about, okay, your kids when they come there, all right? And, you know, they're coming from everywhere, you know. And so all of a sudden, when they come, he sits down with them and says, hey, this is your big time. You make the best of it right now. So wherever you're at, that's your big time. And so I you know, pushed that heavily with all of our players, and that somehow resonated with him all the way through his life, and he still talks about that moment.
We're running short on time, Coop. One last question before we get all the pertinent information out of the way. You miss it? You miss it at all? I mean, the day-to-day blocking sleds and hot workouts in August.
You know, I mean, I love football. I mean, you know, I love basketball. You know, but I wasn't going to go anywhere on a basketball scholarship, so I had to figure out what was going to happen. And
well, you're vertically challenged. That was never going to happen anyway. But do you miss it? I mean, do you miss?
I miss the coach. I miss the kids. I miss the relationship. You know, the coaching staff is. You know, I had some pretty awesome coaches from. About 1980 until 91 when we dropped the program. I mean, take a look at Gene Baker, John Muriel, I had Paul Seal, Paul Preston. I mean, these are all names that people know in this community. And, you know, and if you don't have a good coaching staff and you don't let them coach, then you're not going to get very far.
Again, it is this Saturday night at the Student Recreation Center on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College. Let's sell some tickets. How do we go about doing that, Coop?
Well, they can go to gowbc.com. That'll bring up the web page, and there'll be a QR code on there. And so they click onto the QR code, and it should take them to another page with tables and tickets, donations, and that kind of a thing. Click on the box that says tables and tickets, and you can purchase online. And we've got quite a few people that don't want to use a credit card. Get a hold of me at 509-860-7216, and I'll take your check and I'll take it up personally.
Good food, music, adult beverages, not so adult beverages, whatever it is that you want to do. It's going to be a very entertaining night, and all of the proceeds go to the Wenatchee Valley College Athletic Department, who need our help.
And last thing I want to mention is a 21 plus, okay, that kind of a thing.
Yep.
And it's not a cashless. If people want to come at the door, we're going to be equipped to handle it. Okay, and so, basically I think it's going to be a fun night. We've got jazz music, we got Whiskey Trail at the end, so they can stay until after my bedtime.
They'll stay until the cops come and tell everybody they have to go home. Coop, it's good to see you, my friend.
All right, thank you very much for helping.
Stay in the studio. I still got to do the weather forecast. And by the way, it's going to be a beautiful weekend to play a little golf with Kenny.
Yeah, it will be.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Weinstein, Smitty's, and Braden Dragoo from Dragoo Financial. How can we forget to mention these three folks? Without those three businesses, it ain't happening.
That's right. That's right. Weinstein stepped up, and Braden, of course, he's a former student athlete of ours. And he's so passionate about the night athletic program, and we're all working together, and it's fun to have people that have the same vision and the same goal. And so, we're going to get some things done, and we're excited about this. I hope people come out, because there's going to be an awesome night of entertainment. And I think just the number of people and the people I already know are coming, there's going to be a lot of people. Dignitaries, we're going to have the mayors there, we're going to have the representatives, they're trying to get our vote. They're going to be there. Everybody's going to be there.
There's no lack of things to do this weekend, but you really want to make it. And quick little teaser. Kenny Mayne is one of the most approachable guys I've ever come across. You would have no idea that he's as good as he does. There's going to be a really cool story involving Kenny Mayne, his college years, and Smitty's Pancake House, and that's all I'm going to say. I got to do the live deal for Pool to Spa Services, so here it is. Pool to Spa Services. Oh, look at that. They covered up your beautiful face, Coop. By the way, Coop uses Pool to Spa Services. You like them. They're your people.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yep.
They call them up.
Sandy has a hot tub that he bought 40 some odd years ago as a teenager, and he still uses it. From the National Weather Service, let's do your forecast real quick. It looks something like this. Sunshine today and a high of 82 degrees. Clear tonight, 56 for the overnight low. It's going to be a beautiful day at the Apple Bowl for East Monte Wenatchee Soccer. Don't forget our cameras will be there. Big crowd on hand for that huge match tonight. Few clouds Wednesday night into Thursday. We go right back to sunshine. Gorgeous weekend coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Coop, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Folks, take care, be good, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
And go Knights.
Go Knights.